What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another module in the program. Today, we're going to be talking about repurposing on other channels. Okay, taking all of your content from one main platform, which is typically TikTok, and then being able to actually transfer all of that content to your other platforms so that you can start transferring all of your following over to your other platforms, building up your audience on other platforms, but then also being able to just maximize and leverage the content you're already making on other platforms. Okay, so today's itinerary, obviously, how to use your content at scale, how you can add an additional 2 to 3 hours of capacity to each and every single one of your days, and then building an audience on all platforms. Okay, so leveraging your content at scale. All right, so first things first is you need to be able to post to TikTok. Okay, like I had mentioned, TikTok is going to be your main platform that you use. I think right now we're in a really cool situation. I mean, obviously, at the time recording this, it's February 2023. Actually, today's March 1st, 2023. But what's really interesting is how TikTok has actually started to basically adapt and change up their ecosystem. Right now, TikTok obviously started off as mainly short form, only doing 15-second videos, kind of like the old app Vine, right? But now what they're doing is they're actually transitioning into more longer form content as a whole in both the videos that you're showing and also in the copy. So right now, at the time that I'm recording this, you can basically post up to 1-minute videos and even 5-minute videos, which is amazing. But they've even taken it a step further. You can actually write longer copy now on your posts as well too. So it kind of reminds me of like the early day, the early days when like Gary Vaynerchuk or like Russell Brunson, all these guys, they would post like long form copy so that you're kind of like storytelling in the captions. And basically people are doing that now in TikTok, which is really, really cool because again, if you can imagine, your content is looping in the background, meaning your watch time is going up significantly while people are reading through this copy. So there's a lot of really, really good reasons to utilize TikTok as your main platform because it gives you so much opportunity to actually test your content at the maximum level, both your copy and your videos. Okay, so the first things first is you're obviously going to post to TikTok. Okay, next thing you need to do is you need to save the TikTok. Very simple. And then the last thing is to repost your TikTok to Instagram Reels. That's one. Facebook Reels, 2, YouTube Shorts, and LinkedIn. Okay, those 4 platforms. Now you can use scheduling softwares. I don't really recommend it just because anytime that I have ever tested that on my end, I just seen a massive decrease in engagement, in reach, and impressions, and everything. It's almost like the platforms know that you're utilizing these softwares to basically like repost, so they're gonna diminish a lot of your reach. So I actually recommend doing it all on your own. However, in the next module, we do go over basically like outsourcing through a VA and having them basically do it for you. Okay, so 2 things to consider, right? So Facebook Reels is highly undervalued right now, and it is a massive opportunity here to grow a following and also make ad dollars. So right now, Facebook is they've copied TikTok in the sense of like they have the short form content now with Facebook Reels and Instagram Reels, all these things. But now they're actually copying YouTube in a sense where they're actually giving ad revenue to the actual creators, because what's happening is kind of like YouTube. If you post content in like the finance space or the marketing space, if other people are running ads and these ads are showing up on your channel, you're getting a small portion of basically those ad dollars that people are spending, right, based off the CPMs. So I'm not too sure on how Facebook is choosing to actually pay out the creators. There's not a whole lot of information on that quite yet, but they're doing it. They've allocated billions of dollars to basically pay creators, which is awesome. So yeah, I highly recommend utilizing Facebook Reels. It's super undervalued. I've noticed that my Reels are on Facebook are just completely taking off right now. And Facebook's a really good platform to transfer all that audience and all that reach over into your Instagram. Okay. Then the second platform is YouTube Shorts. Okay. So YouTube Shorts is the easiest way to consistently grow your subscribers by, 10 to 20, honestly, new subscriber each and every day by just posting 1 a day. And like YouTube, with long form content, you have to be posting consistently. So I did find that like it took about a month of posting every single day until I started to see my videos get, over 1,000 views consistently. Now, if you go into my YouTube Shorts, you'll actually see that like pretty much every single one performs fairly well in terms of like the ratio from views to actual subscribers. And right now, I mean, like I'm growing like easily like 20 plus subscribers a day. And I mean, this is definitely something I lack on. I should be posting more long form content. I will be, but just off of YouTube Shorts alone, I'm growing very, very fast. So the combination between short form content and long form content with YouTube is going to be massive. Okay. So softwares that you'll need for repurposing all of your content. Okay, so you'll need to utilize ticksave.io. This is a desktop browser, right? So you can save content for yourself and other creator profiles without TikTok watermark. Now, the reason why you would save other creators' TikToks is because if you're like basically trying to copy a trend, right? Like let's say, I know this is really big in like certain niches where basically the clip will be of yourself and then it kind of skips to like a meme or like a scene from like a movie or a video, something like that, something that like it kind of gives like a meme aspect. What a lot of people will do is they'll save another creator's video, they will basically film themselves in that first part of the clip that they're trying to film, and then they'll just basically cut in half where the meme actually starts, right? So then that way you don't need to go to like YouTube, download the YouTube video from the exact meme that you're trying to find and stuff like that. Okay, so that's realistically the only case you'll ever really need to download a creator's video, but for the most part you're going to be using ticksave.io to be downloading your content to be repurposing to other places. Okay, TickSave, this is a mobile app. It does cost money. I believe they do have a free version or a free trial, but it does cost about $50 a year. It's not that much money, but again, it will just keep things really simple for you. If you're like, oh, you know what, like I need to post something. So go to your page, your TikTok page, save it. You can copy basically like your captions, your videos, everything, and then you can just repost it to whatever platform. Okay. And then Hype Fury. All right. So Hype Fury is really awesome. Obviously, this will allow you to grow an audience on Twitter and engage with other creators. It has scheduling features and it also has auto DM features, meaning if you go on Twitter and you make a tweet that basically says, I've created this, like a lead magnet, like I've created this, like, grow to 10,000 followers worksheet. Like this tweet, retweet it, and you have to be following me to get it. Basically, what you can do is you can set those parameters up in Hype Fury, and then it will auto DM people that lead magnet or that PDF that you're trying to give people for free, and it'll auto DM them so that you're not like typing, sending all these tweet messages, all these Twitter messages manually. Okay, so those are the three that I would recommend, but the main thing to take into consideration is obviously like the TikTok saving videos. Okay, that's the biggest thing. So creating more freedom in your schedule, right? Save time and get more freedom. So by repurposing your content, you will be overwhelmed to create and edit more content. Again, I get a lot of questions from a lot of creators, like, how do you make so much content? How are you growing so fast? How are you doing all this thing? And it's like, I'm just efficient with the way that I make my content. Okay. I recognize that like one piece of content that I make can technically be used across all of the platforms. And if used properly, depending on the type of content I'm creating, I can, use that in many different clips and many different videos. Okay. Repost everything to your YouTube shorts. Don't care too much about the aesthetic. This means nothing. Okay. A lot of creators, they get way too caught up in the aesthetic of like their feed or their page, like especially on Instagram and stuff. I can understand Instagram, but even they've implemented features now that you can like basically remove your Instagram reels, from your actual main feed, and you can just put them into like your short or your reels feed, right? So again, don't care too much about aesthetic here. Like, that is like the least of your worries, especially when you're really trying to grow an audience. Okay. You can worry about your aesthetic down the road when you have the audience, right? But just right now you're focusing on building value. Okay. So repost everything to YouTube shorts. Repost your better performing content to Instagram reels. This is something that I've been doing. If something performs really well off TikTok, I will definitely repost that into Instagram reels. Okay. Instagram reels is where I like to post higher quality content. I don't care so much about the aesthetic, but I care about the quality of content that I post. Okay. So if something does really well on TikTok, it typically does very well as well too on Instagram reels. And then of course, repost everything to Facebook reels. Okay. So there's kind of like the platforms that, like Instagram, where you'll care a little bit more about the quality of content that you post, but with like Facebook reels, with YouTube shorts, with LinkedIn, Twitter, post everything. Okay. Everything you post on TikTok, repost it to those other platforms. Now, building an audience on all platforms, okay? So understand that no platform is safe these days, okay? I used to focus so much on just Instagram, and then all of a sudden Instagram started making changes to their algorithms where they weren't posting so much, they weren't like boosting your posts or showing your carousel posts, your picture posts to your followers anymore. So my engagement and my reach just like got completely demolished, right? And so what I recommend is like, have all of your eggs in all of the baskets, okay? You don't want them in just one basket. So focus on all of the different platforms, right? So Snapchat, used to be big, right? If you can remember Snapchat back in the day, like when I was in, 2013 high school, everybody used Snapchat because their story features and like the cool, just like the platform alone was really, really cool. And then Instagram added their story feature, and people, I remember like the first week were like, oh, like Instagram, like you're copying, Snapchat, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, like it's literally on the stock market, like you can go look at Snapchat stock, like after Instagram basically did that, like it just completely plummeted, right? So you'll notice that like a lot of these bigger platforms, they steal the cool features from a lot of these other new and up and coming platforms. TikTok is obviously a big player right now. They're going to be around for the long term. But you can see like Instagram Reels, like they copied TikTok's short form content. Facebook Reels, they copy their short form content. Same with YouTube, right? So like all these platforms copy each other. So it's in your best, interest to repurpose all your content, because if you're making it on one platform, it's sooner or later one platform is going to come out with the exact same feature and you can just utilize that same content. Okay. And then again, another example, TikTok blew up short form content and then, forcing tons of users off of Instagram. And that's why Instagram and Facebook had to basically adopt the Reels section. Okay. So build an audience on platforms so you don't have all your eggs in one platform. Each platform has different demographics, which will allow you to resonate with different audiences. Okay. That's another one to take advantage of, right? Even with TikTok, like I blew up my TikTok quite fast with an audience. However, I recognize that my TikTok audience is a lower quality audience because they're younger people. A lot of these people don't, they don't have a lot of money. And they're also like, they're not even at the age where they can really like realistically start a legal business, right? Like, a 13-year-old can't really start a legal business. Like they have to utilize like their parents to like co-sign and do all these things. So it is what it is. But here's the thing, like people are going to grow up. And if they continue following you, that's kind of how you build that cult like following, right? Like there's a lot of people that come to my mind who I was following when I was, under 18. And, I was following them for like years. And I still consume a lot of their content. And I would consider myself a huge loyal follower of theirs because like the information they give me is so valuable and I still consume a lot of their content. Okay. And then obviously the last thing is omnipresence. Okay. So omnipresence will create authority and give you more credibility when people are, seeing you on everything and seeing you on every platform and they're searching for you, right? Like if you can imagine, before some client or, before a potential client or a lead jumps onto a discovery call with you, if they search up, Dominic Yundalo, they're going to see like my Instagram Reels, my Facebook Reels, my YouTube Shorts, my YouTube channel, my LinkedIn, my Twitter. Like you just have a huge online resume of all this really good quality content. Okay. So omnipresence is key. If people see that you're on all these platforms, you're just going to give out that sort of like energy or that vibe that like you're kind of like everywhere, right? Like you're in every place at once, So this is something that I do for myself, my own personal brand, but this is also something that we also do for our clients at the agency as well too. Omnipresence is really, really important. Okay. So action steps for today. All right. So begin saving your content to your mobile device or a computer using the software provided, and then begin writing down a proper content routine for yourself that is sustainable. Okay. You want to make sure that you're doing something that's sustainable, and then be consistent and just recognize that yes, growth will take time, but even if you have 50 followers, 200 followers, it doesn't matter. Like you're speaking to them. Okay. Don't have this mindset where it's like, I'm going to start making really good quality content when I have 1,000 subscribers or when I have 20,000 followers on TikTok. Like you need to be speaking to the audience that you currently have because they're still people too. Okay. So utilize these action steps and I will see you guys in the next module. All right. Have a great rest of your day and we'll see you in the next one.